Right, hello everybody, and welcome to Blinn versus Nova Game 1. The game's already started. We have Nova on blue side, Blinn on red side. Quick early invade, it looks like, coming from Nova. Nothing special, noted out of the ordinary, save for the Sivir still being in Tri-Bush. Probably they're going to wait for her. On Blinn side, we've got a wide sort of default setup, just checking for invades, passively holding the map. Nothing special there. What we ought to watch for this game. Now, before I say that, looks like the invade will be committed, and it looks like Subloser is unaware on his way out, but that knockup will be coming in. Oh, wait, never mind. It's E starts in, and Subloser gets out with just a little bit of chip damage. No kills found. Looks like Fatal Blade's going to find an early ward here. Maybe he'll get out for free, and it looks like he is. Making good of a bad situation. Kudos to him. One thing to keep in mind this game is that there is a bit of a rank difference, just a bit. Most players on Nova are around Diamond to Masters, and the average rank of Blinn, I believe, is Silver-ish. So, nothing really out of the ordinary among collegiate Valorant, collegiate League of Legends. But that being said, small trade in the bot lane. Subloser is just a little bit late to lane, giving Bomba to his own devices. One thing to look out for this game is Fatal Blade. He's the good hook from Subloser. Fatal Blade is the highest ranked player on Blinn and is Diamond 4 and is their hyper carry. In games where he's allowed to pop off, he really does pop off. And on a character like Aurora that's so punishing, so hard to take back once she has a lead, it's a good fit for him. And he's shown us what he can do with it before. In Blinn's first game, he had something like 28 kills and no deaths. So Blinn will probably be putting all of their eggs in that basket. But Nick is no slouch either. It's a bit of a new addition to the roster, but of course, you can see that he's already handling things on his own very well. There's some quick trades in the mid lane. Another good trade top. Nothing exhilarating. Now, Blinn does like to run this comp a lot. It's a big comfort pick for them. With the core of Aurora, Wukong, Ashe, and then letting the top and support change things up every once in a while. Another electrocute proc for Nova's mid laner. Blinn likes this comp, and while, I mean, it's hard to blame them for just picking what they know, I'd like to see a little bit more flexibility, especially against such strong players on Nova. Looks like we have a bit of a 2v2 going on in the bot lane. Bomba is brought a bit low. Still scraping together some CS, except for the fact that Sivir is, of course, the CSing character, so has about double. Hook goes a bit short for Subloser, but all is well. Fatal Blade likely surviving this with the Flash W, but the Xin Zhao picks him up anyways. First blood for Nova. Drawing ever closer to that feat of strength. Looks like another bit of a fight in the bot lane. You can see that the health advantage is pretty clearly in Nova's favor, especially when we look at the items. The Sivir still has 2 cookies and a potion, so under no pressure at all here, hardly. What we'll most likely see is the Sivir from Nova running out of mana before things can really pop off. Small engage from the Leona and invest the ignite, but no kill found. So it was just a little bit too late with the Q. Probably on cooldown, if I had to guess. Some more short trades mid. Now this will be probably in the Vex's favor, as, you know, that first blood gold, even though if it didn't go straight to Vex, that sure does add up. And it's these small battles that make big differences, especially in mid lane. You can see the health advantage tipping widely in the Vex's favor. Getting dangerous for Fatal Blade, but he decides he's going to make his way out after this wave. First dragon is up. See the supports on the map on the lower side. Just keeping things together, holding things down. Checking for vision before the objective is taken. We see Subblizzard join Bomba in the bot lane. Get a slow push, but that doesn't really mean much against Sivir. We can kind of see these teams tiptoeing around these fights. They don't really want to go for anything. But that being said, a 1-for-1 in the top lane. Nick seemingly went for a dive and died the last tower shot on his way out. Some good damage from Fatal Blade onto the Vex. That is something you always have to be aware of when you are laning against an Aurora. You never have as much health as you think you do. One QE combo can erase people later in the game. That being said, Fatal Blade is a little bit behind in money, but it seems like he wants to go for it anyway, and he gets the flash. I don't think he'll be too upset about that. Tries to stick around for one more wave. Speaking of waves, got a big one waiting for Nick in the top lane. This is a lot of money, but he's stuck. No mobility for Nick, and we see Steve James V, the Ornn, walking down the mid lane. Fatal Blade's likely in some trouble here, especially if that ult is invested. There's the knockup, there's the auto, and the Vex ult goes short. That is disappointing for Nova. That's the kind of thing that grinds people's gears, as they say. Looks like Blinn cleverly give one plate to the minions so that Nova doesn't get it next time they come back. And we see a bit of a roam from the Vex towards the bot lane. Decides not to show yet. Maybe going for a sneaky play? I guess not. Bit of a lane swap going on. We see Nova's bot lane going top, Ornn mid, and Vex bot. This is likely to make things a little bit easier on the Vex, and giving the bot lane some kill pressure on Nick top side. That being said, we see Shazam seemingly posing for a fight on the top side. Gets engaged on in Tri-Bush, but invests a flash. Maybe he'd want that one back, but he gets out nonetheless. Can't complain. Fatal Blade brings the Ornn low, but no real fight taken. Nick has done a good job of remaining high health against this in this 2v1 lane, although that may change. Quick QW, gets away. Looks like we've got another fight brewing mid. Fatal Blade takes the ult onto the Ornn, and it's a kill. The second for Blinn. This is what I was talking about. Fatal Blade is quite strong on this Aurora. We've seen him do it before. And this is not a character you want to let roam free. Like, probably more than caught up in gold, sorry, on Nova's Vex. We'll likely see him building it to a Ludens or something like that on this recall. On our 5s, mind you. Looks like things have largely returned to the natural state of the game, with the bot lanes where they should be, top laners where they should be. Lane swaps have gotten a bit nerfed earlier this year, but still, it's not too bad, especially when you're just trying to catch up, trying to let your top laner catch up in CS. We can see that the Ornn is down almost or over 30 CS on Nick. See the ult come out from Bomba, but it doesn't really amount to much. You see some people gathering in the river, probably trying to recover this bot lane dive. The Leona catches on the wall with the barriers invested. The Leona ult and ignite, and the flash over the wall from the Xin Zhao means the kill goes to Nova, and Nova claimed the feats of warfare. You see a re-engage from the Nautilus, and the Wukong ult thrown in as well. A good kill taken from Subloser. Flashes away, and it looks like he's out. But you never know when the re-engage may come.
Take it in.
That didn't stop Blynn's recall. Flash invested from Fatal Blade, trying to get out of the way of the Vex ult. His life is saved. Blinn did a pretty good job of recovering that bot lane dive. They did go 2 for 1, but I feel like that's called making the most of a bad situation. What I want to keep my eye on this game is the CS differences and how lopsided they are. A 40 CS difference in favor of Blinn's top laner Nick, and another 40 CS difference in favor of Nova's ADC Smiley Kid. Now, given Fior's a lane bully and Sivir's always going to have a bit of CS lead because of how the abilities work, but it's something to keep in mind. The gold is not spread out evenly amongst these teams. Some more harassment topside. A bit of a level lead coming out for Smiley Kid. Bomba still being 7, Smiley Kid being 8. Dragon taken for Nova. No real presence on the bottom side of the map for Blinn. And Shazam Killer perhaps looking for something topside. I see a dive forming on the Ornn. Now this is a bit of a dangerous target, especially when you're leaving your bot side vulnerable and your mid tower available for power plates for the Vex. But if things go well, Blinn could be happy with this. Looks like we see some more turmoil bot lane as well. Leona comes in to dive and pick up the kill on Bomba, and again, Subloser picks up the kill on the Leona on her way out. Blinn's dive topside functions properly, and things go well. Subloser does a valiant effort of surviving the dive, and he draws out the flash and barrier from Smiley Kid. That being said, I feel like this went mostly in Nova's favor, with the Vex free farming the tower and 2 kills bot side in comparison to 1 kill top side. But as I say, it's not the size of the gold bag, it's what you do with it that matters.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Looks like Nick is going to get all of these tower plates. But in return, they give the entire bot lane tier 1 before 14 minutes. Now, this is just kind of the way things unfolded for Blinn, but still. We see Nova's bot side in the top lane, probably looking for that top lane tier 1, trying to rack up that gold. Sivir is a nasty hyper carry and pretty strong right now, so likely looking to win through her. We see Bomba ends. But before that, we see Fatal Blade getting dived on by the Xin Zhao. Looks like he'll survive, but you never know. It's always dangerous when these aggressive engaged characters coming in with the Vex ult. Looks like Subloser is here just in time. The Ignite and the ult come in from Fatal Blade, and he picks up the kill. His second of the game.
I see your spirit.
It seems like Blinn is doing a good job of being aware of the moves Nova wants to make. On the top side, we see a dive forming, and Subloser's already on his way up. We see Nick ulting on the Sivir, trying to pick up the kill. And Leona's too far forward, picks up the kill on the Sivir, and it looks like they're going for more. They want the Xin Zhao. The Leona is invested, the Nautilus hook lands. Nick goes down. Xin Zhao will active, and the Ornn shows back up. It's time to disengage. Meanwhile, Bomba gets into CS in the bot side. Comfortable. Solitude. A fun hook from Subblizzard on the Thorn while he's on top. We're trying to save this tower, but just not in the cards. And it looks like Nova will be slowly grinding away his health pool. Waves taken mid and bots. Just some pressure and compensation. And again, the key in this game is the CS differences. And it's going to mean more as the game goes on. We see that Ornn is 40 down on the Fiora, Xin Zhao is 40 up on the Wukong, and Sivir is nearly 50 up on Bomba. At almost 2 items, or 1.5, we'll say. Nova take the Rift Herald. Can't help but think this is going to go into one of these side lanes, and maybe they'll pick up the mid tower just by hitting it. We see Leona going for some deep wards. They can do that on the top side as there is no tier 1. Pretty open space nowadays. It looks like we see Bomba and Subblizzard coming in for a gank in the mid lane, but they changed their mind. Subblizzard goes for the hook. As arrow lands, Leona ult lands on the Wukong. No Wukong ult invested. There goes the clone. Aurora ult as well. Leona's a bit stuck, and she gets out. A big investment from Blinn that doesn't quite turn out. The Sivir was just out of range, and that Leona was too tanky to kill, especially under tower. But that being said, it looks like resets on both sides. Maybe there's a window. Ornn realizes he's on vision, and clears it on his way out. Now here comes the third dragon of the game, and so far Nova has gotten both of them. In the early game, those dragons and the stats they give, not a big deal. But we see Nick going for ult on the orange top side. Dodges the ult with his own, with his W, parries it. Here comes Shazam for the gank. Ornn flashes out and he might be free, but Nick flashes afterwards and so does Shazam, and this is likely a kill. Indeed. But in the meanwhile, Nova summoned the Rift Herald, and they're likely going to get this dragon. The third dragon is when things start to really matter. You don't want your... Oh, it seems they decide not to pick up the dragon, instead going for a kill on Fatal Blade and a tower mid. And then we see Xin Zhao retreating back to the dragon. You really don't want to give your opponent third dragon, because then you must pick up the next one in order to deny soul. But if Blinn play their cards right, this could be in their favor. They've taken the top tier 1 and 2. And that mid tower is low. Now Shazam's not going to be happy with this. He's getting robbed blind. But he'll make do. Nova pick up the dragon, and it's a reset. You see Subblizzard are going to re-clear the bottom side of their jungle. Clearing wards, placing wards. Just looking for passive information. Trying to stay safe on their side of the map. The gold lead is not in their favor. Blinn down about 3k. And again, this gold is not evenly distributed. It's not 500 on each, or 600 on each of the Nova players. It's more like an extra 1,000 on the Xin Zhao and the Vex and the Sivir. Right where Blinn doesn't want it to be. See Leona going for some wards here. You can see that Blinn don't want any action here. They're on their way out. This is oppressive. This is widespread area control from Nova. You see a fight brewing in the jungle, and the Leona ult locks in Shazam. Fatal Blade goes for an ult. Zips around to the other side, but it's just not enough. It's too squishy. The Blizzard and Nick come back, and the engage from the Ornn is there, and this fight does not go their way. It's an ace in favor of Nova. A flawless ace.
Blue team has slain an ace.
Now this is dangerous for Blinn. This could be the end of the game. Taking the mid tier 1 or tier 3 and the inhib. Shazam is up, but it's 1 man versus 5, and it's not in his favor. Knocked up by the Ornn on his way out. Here comes Subloser with the hook. Ornn is down. Leona taking some tower shots here. Looks like we're retreating. Flash hook goes wide from Subloser, and the Vex Sphere scares him off. But it looks like Blinn still wants to be a part of this. The health is not in their favor here. This could be a dangerous re-engage from Nova. Sinjao goes in, picks up the kill on Subloser. Fatal Blade saves his life. His own life, that being. Can't pick up the kill on the Vex. And it's another double for Sivir. You can see that Xin Zhao is going for more, and that Sundered Sky healing coming in clutch. Fatal trying to recover the wave, trying to make sure they can end the game, but it's largely futile. 21-9. Seemingly the game is going to end here pretty soon. It was a valiant effort from Blinn. They certainly had their moments. 4 kills from Nick, 2 kills on the Subloser, and 2 kills on Fatal Blade, and an unfortunate 3 kills on their support. This is something of a curse from Subloser, and he's seemingly always picking up the kills. See Nova just closing out a few last kills before ending the game. Looks like they're up 1-0 in this best of 3. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the second game of Blinn College versus Northern Virginia Community College, Nighthawks Nova. If you missed the last game, it was a bit of a one-sided win in favor of Nova. But Blinn looking to even things up with this second game. Now, this is a new comp from Blinn. It still has the same core of the Aurora and the Ash, but it's a bit more tanky, I would say, with the Seraphine W and the Renekton and the
Welcome
Volibear.
to Summoner's Rift.
And again, same as last game, it looks like we have, actually in the reverse of last game, it looks like we have
30
Blinn
seconds until minions spawn.
lining up for an invade here, and Nova probably setting themselves wide, gathering information, just passively reading the map. But it looks like Blinn decides against their invade, just gonna gather in Tribush here. Just holding hands. Comparing Instagram Reels.
Minions have spawned.
I learned this
Everybody goes their separate ways.
video game.
What's up, Wizard? Emoting in a bush.
NJCAAE taught me this trick.
It's a good game already. Now this right here is what we should be watching most carefully. The mid lane matchup between Fatal Blade and Stevie. I would guess that's how to pronounce. The First Strike Sinja is, of course, a lethal weapon once given a chance, but the same can be said for Fatal Blade. We've seen him go crazy in these games before, and Aurora, as a character, is a threat. Some short trades across the lanes. Sub-Wizard brought down to half health, and Fatal Blade is going to auto his opponent to death. The Electrocute procs, the Aurora passive doing work here, and the E kill brings Stevie low. We see Nick gather the level advantage, but the Jax walks away with the E, safe as always. Now this Bard early levels is quite dangerous. Nobody ever thinks of Bard as the heavy hitter in a bot lane duo, but especially at level 1, he can do a lot of damage with just his autos. We see Gwen very low health on this clear. That's a bit peculiar. Likely got cancelled or started on Krugs or something like that. A flash combo from Fatal Blade picks up first blood. This is a good start for Blinn. Like I said, things are a little bit less in their favor on the bot side, but no complaints so far. We see Gwen a little bit ahead of the Volibear in the clear speed, but largely uneventful. A flash Q from the Bard brings a kill onto Bomba. A bit unexpected from Blinn, I'm guessing. Some calm trades across the lanes. Looks like Nick is slowly building a CS lead topside. And Smiley Kid has quickly built the CS lead over Bomba.
Beautiful, isn't it?
But that can soon change. It's only been 3 minutes. Nothing to worry about just yet. Reset onto Smiley Kid. Bard goes around the map, just setting up boards, doing his Bard thing, collecting those coffee cups. See W in from Fatal Blade. Quick Q, but he might regret this considering where the Bard is. So we're having a bit of a pause here. Some small technical difficulties, team. Nothing to worry about just yet. The game is still going, I assure you. We'll be right back. And back we are. Things looking a little bit more even now. Looks like Jack is running a little bit low on mana. Might want to reconsider staying. And it looks like Bomba's found a way to safely CS under his tower. Maybe that Seraphine healing coming in clutch now that she has some more mana. Or some more ability haste, sorry. Looks like Nova are going to go for this early dragon. Shazam just not quite in position yet, probably being caught on his recall timing. Quick harass damage on the sub-loser, but he gets away with his life. Looks like we see Nick going for a bit of a proxy topside, knowing that Nova's on the dragon. And we see Fatal Blade moving top, likely for a dive. That level 6 is online for him, and that Aurora ult can quickly create a trap that's really, really tough to get out of. It doesn't look like Nova quite knows what Blinn is going for here, but Jack does force out the Fury of the Sands early, and it looks like Blinn can't quite pick up the kill. Jax gets away with the flash. Although Nick clearly still wants it, probably gonna go for a flash play, but the Jax is there and he gets stunned in the tower, and it's a turnaround, and Jax picks up the kill. 1-2 for Nova. Keep on picking up the spot wave. Probably gonna lose some health for it, but it's worth considering how much money is waiting for him here. We see Fatal Blade going topside, trying to still assert some pressure on this Jax. Looks like he's unaware that the Gwen is behind him though. As he comes to be engaged, the Syndra's on her way up the river. Fatal Blade doesn't have all that much time here. Gwen ult invested, invisibility, he gets stunned by the Syndra. And it looks like Syndra's holding the W to give to Gwen. And it's a feat of warfare for Nova. Looks like we're going to see Blinn moving back into position, Nick going back topside, Fatal coming back mid. A little bit of free time on the map. Now, again, same as last game, Nick has a bit of a CS lead. Getting engaged upon here, but likely not a problem for him. That Renekton healing is going to slowly bring him back upside. But we see Shazam coming in for the gank topside. Volibear gank's quite potent if you can land both the Q and the E. The E goes wide. Looks like Shazam doesn't quite know what to do here. This gives the Bard time to re-engage. And Shazam is forced to flash. A good recovery from Nova. The ult is forced out into Nick. Looks like they're trying to pinch on this Jax topside, but the Bard ult saves his life. A Volibear ult is going to time out here pretty soon, and it looks like Nick goes down, and Smiley Kid made all the way topside to pick up the kill with the ult. 2-0 for Nova. This top tower is going to be in some danger here. Fatal Blade picks up a mid lane tower plate in compensation, but it's just not the same. We're going to see these objectives on the top side taken by the Gwen of Nova, and a tower plate as well. Meanwhile, looks like Blinn's bot side is trying to force a dive into Syndra, and now this is likely going to be easier than a dive on Jax. Syndra's squishy, no mobility, no recourse, but this is the move for her. Aggress early to take the option away from them. Although it doesn't quite work out in her favor. Forces the ult, and Fatal Blade picks up the kill. A well-timed heal from Subloser saves his life. Now we see Nick trying to make do with what's left of his lane. We see that the Nova bot lane is here, and with a character with as little range as Renekton, really just kind of got to scrape by and hope they leave. And it looks like leave they will. Bit of a pause here. Just Nick gonna step on those coffee cups, make sure Bard doesn't get to have them. A reclear of the jungle for the junglers. This is largely the time in the game where things slow down. People are walking back to lane, people are clearing camps. Although we do see that Nova's pushing into Blinn's bot side jungle. Maybe just warding, maybe looking to steal a camp. It's an ult from Bard onto Fatal Blade in the mid lane. It lands perfectly. Single stun follows, the Blinn ult follows, and it looks like Fatal Blade gets away with the invisibility. Well played. A big investment from Nova that comes up empty. Subloser's just going to clear this control ward. The E goes a little bit crooked, but nothing to worry about. As I was saying earlier, the CS difference is still present in the exact same locations as it was last game, but it's not quite as severe. Nick's about 30 up on Steve James V, the Jax, and Smiley Kid is about 30 up-ish on Bomba. Nothing else really to worry about, except for the also a 20 CS diff in favor of Gwen over Volibear, and Nova pick up their second jungle. Nova seems to be really confident in taking these objectives, knowing they're not going to get countered. Subloser ults the Bard, quickly disengaging. Caitlyn ults to kill him. Looks like they're going to re-engage on this Bomba, and he goes down. These Caitlyn traps, combined with her passive, can make her have a surprising amount of output with this lethal tempo. She's not just a lethality champ. It looks like Nova wants to press this kill onto Subloser as well, and they get it. Likely a Caitlyn Q that landed just where it needed to. And this is kind of the same as the last game, where Novas just seem to be applying pressure across the board, giving Blinn no room to breathe. They're up in objectives, and kills, and gold, and tower plates. Blinn needs a hero play, and it likely will come from Fatal Blade. He's got that Storm Surge put together already, and he has both of Blinn's kills. Despite Nova being a comp, or being so ahead in gold, their comp doesn't leave them a lot of room for tanking options, but Bardock comes in on Fatal Blade, stun as well, and the Syndra will finish him off. Subloser just doesn't have the tools to save his life. Bardock comes in as well, but it largely won't get any value. But I take that back. A good stun from Bard brings up both kills for Nova. Jax forces up the ult of Nick, but seems to fail his ward jump. And it seems like Nick wants to get value from this ult, but there's just not enough movement speed there. Because Jax still has, of course, a lot of health left. He invests the ult when Nick's ult times out. It looks like he wants to go for this, but he might be out of options. The jump comes in, but the Renekton Q brings Nick back up to a satisfactory amount of health. Both top lane and flash. It gets away. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, a 3-man dive on a Bomba picks up an easy kill for them. It looks like Nick wants to re-aggress with the stun, and the Q is there, and he picks up the kill. Subloser's got to be careful on his way out here. This Gwen ult, if she has it, could be the end of him. And it's the Caitlyn... No, it's the Bard auto instead that picks up the kill. Things are not looking good for Blinn. As I said, they need a hero play, but it looks like they don't have any agency. Nova's just taking these fights whenever they want to, and it's not... It's building a bad financial difference for these teams. Nothing really too exciting happening right now. We see that Jax has finished his Triforce, and Nick still has an Eclipse. We see Bard engaging on the Fatal Blade here. The slow comes in, and the Kaelin ult as well, but it looks like it'll get tanked by Bomba and the counter ult, and it looks like this is a kill. He flashes away the Bard ult, but Bard gets away with his life. Maybe. He does. And in turn, Caitlyn picks up the kill on the Fatal Blade. Looks like a re-aggression from Jax onto Volibear, and this could be a kill for them. And that was clever. The Squire's Bloom movement speed gave Jax the kill. And his life. And it looks like Subcluster just can't do enough to save his power, flashes away, but a good Seraphine ult catches Caitlyn, but the Gwen Q just does too much damage. And Nick may be getting caught here as well. He seems to be caught between a rock and the hard place. The Gwen ult's invested, slows him. Bard's done as well, and it looks like I doubt this Renekton ult's going to save his life. The Q healing does his work, but it's not enough. Subblur gets... Sorry. Fatal Blade comes in with the TP and the W, but it's not in a pretty situation here. And it's another kill for Nova. You can't help but feel like Blinn is running out of options. These fights aren't going their way, they're losing camps, they're losing objectives. They need a hero. Subloser does a good job of clearing the wave, just making sure this tier 2 doesn't get taken. That's a lot of money that could go to Nova. That being said, in the meanwhile, Nova pick up the Rift Herald, and it'll likely result in a tower wherever they put it. And if you take a look at the map, you can see that Nova has vision everywhere. Deep vision, especially on the top side. Right now they're grouping for the dragon, and they'll probably move some of those control wards around, just making sure they secure vision on the current objective. And we can see Subloser clearing some of those wards on the top side. But this is looking like another objective for Nova. The Bard ult catches Subloser on his way in, but it doesn't look like anything's going to come of it, just the rest of Nova's not in position to capitalize. It seems that Blinn know that this objective isn't going to go their way, so they're trying to compensate with a kill topside. While nice, I would love to see Blinn defending this mid tower, and it looks like we see Bomb on his way there. But this could be bad. It looks like Bard is aware of this. Dive that was coming topside comes back, catches the stun on the Nick. The Aurora just goes a little bit too short and doesn't catch him. Bard flies away. Stun comes onto the Jax, but it looks like he's just too tanky with the Jax ult. Dives onto the Nick, onto the Renekton, catches him, gets a kill, and this fight might be going Blinn's way. A good series of CC onto the Bard, he gets killed, popped by the Fatal Blade combo, and it looks like the Jax flashes away, but there's nobody to defend the base here. This is the problem. Because Nova have so much more money than Blinn, they have so many more options with where they send their players. So they win at 2v4 topside. Win, air quotes. They go even. And in the meanwhile, the rest of their team takes 3 towers. Let's take a quick reset for Blinn. We see Steve James Z coming back topside with the TP. You can't help but wonder, what does Blinn do here? It's 4-19 and they're down 12k gold. And at this point, I start thinking of miracle plays. Baron steals, a multi-kill from the Renekton or the Ashe or the Aurora. Things like that. But it looks like they're getting bullied out of their own space. The Blinn comes in to take this blue buff out from Subloser's nose. The Gromp as well. Runners gathered their team mid, or their bruisers mid at least, just to hold off on this push, but looks like things are brewing on the dive topside. 4 Nova players here and just Fatal Blade and Subloser. Although it looks like they've just missed their window. Bomba meanwhile gets some CS on the bot lane, but it doesn't look like much progress. It just looks like income. And right now, Blinn needs a lot of both.
Spirit.
Looks like Nova are gathering on this top lane tier 2. And Blinn decide they don't want to contest it. This could be bad. These tier 2s, I may have mentioned this before, are worth more money than the other towers. And that's something that Blinn can't afford to be giving up so willy-nilly. Looks like they realize that they're going to start the base, but it might just be too late. Top lane tier 3 is taken, so is the inhib, and it looks like Nova have another wave coming in. This could be a problem. Fatal Wave with some quick poke damage, but it doesn't really go in his favor. And it's a triple inhib for Nova. Looks like Blinn is hoping to engage with the Ashe catches, but the Bardo catches 3 of them, and Jackson is going to follow up. So the Seraphine ult just can't do enough. The Aurora ult does damage, but it's not enough. And the Caitlyn ult finishes off Bomba. It's a flawless ace, same as last game. We see the GGs in strat. We know, it looks like Blinn knows that this game is over, and it was well fought. The redemption comes in. That's some damage. Don't ignore it. And we see that Nova goes up 2-0 in this best of 3. Thank you for watching. I've been EMP Bull, or Luke, your host, and you have a great day.